Peace, Cosmic Kinfolk. What's been good with you? Oh, really? It's like that? Okay. Well, truth be told, I haven't been hanging out with you as much. Been hanging out with my alter ego. Pretty cool guy named DJ Dab, aka The Last Dragon. And we're back though. Back as my balanced self. A lot of times I go out of body to what was the best way to articulate this meaning? I go out of body during times of mass conscious struggles, where the mass conscious of the planet, continent, nation, whatever are aroused. I'm sort of caught up into that very much so with my heightened awareness. And it usually shows up before, major events happen, like the war that just happened in Israel. And my body just prepares me for the heartbreak, so that way I don't feel too shocked. But I still have to be very cognizant and aware of what I'm doing with that energy. And I watch the mass consciousness. Thank God for Twitter. Seriously, thank God for Twitter. Twitter, you keep me pretty much in the moment to moments, my seconds, my timestamps, everything. I love it because it proves what happens when you reach a certain level of heightened awareness in your Christ consciousness, in your Krishna consciousness, that you will be connected to almost everything. And I don't even mean to say almost. Let's just use the real word. You will be connected to everything. And if you're not prepared for that, if you're not prepared for that state of being, then the result is you will be driven mad. You'll be driven crazy because society doesn't like people with what they call schizophrenia or multiple personality disorders having the ability to be channels for basically multiple energy. Now, that's the topic of today's Smack Dab, is that your personality is energy. Your personality is this divine spark living in you and manifesting itself through the center of your brain, the pineal gland. So, what this whole, intro speech was kind of explaining is who out here wants to really reach Christ conscious and understand the full makeup of what a Christ conscious being really goes through, lives as, and contemplates from moment to moment daily. Not too many people really grasp it fully. It's fun listening to people articulate their understanding of it, because it's amazing how many people have deep understanding without the full manifestation of it. But because there's a lot of good examples left around and written words to study, people can regurgitate written word very well. Even if they've never lived something, they can talk to you as if they've lived something because a book gave it to them in their head. Well, I'm true and living as a very powerful soul bender. I might say I have 12 different personalities, to be honest with you. And I would even suggest that most people have 12 personalities. They've just suppressed it based on current culture, the current illusion, and the way our operating system here in this current time creates the kind of human beings that we see around us. Now, what do I mean by operating system at this time? I mean the operating system that people been to be a part of culture, to be a part of a culture, to be a part of a populist culture. People bend to the will of that program or that operating system. So, like if Windows is the most popular operating system, People will talk like and walk like and look like Windows. If Mac OS is the most popular operating system, people will walk, talk, and look like the Mac OS. If the Android is the most popular hand operating system, I don't know if you're getting my point. People only want to fit in. It's very hard to not want to fit in. You can fight. You can tell me you are a a rebel. You are somebody who likes to stand out of the crowd, maybe even. But I will challenge you and point 16 people, maybe in your immediate circle, that you have met because you attracted them because of the same kind of rebel energy you have, and you dress alike, you talk alike, and you think alike. So how different are you? You're just maybe another set of another operating system, because there are multiple popular operating systems in human beings. Okay, but there are truly 13 powerful operating systems we can maneuver under. And maneuvering under these operating systems really just requires bringing yourself back to nature and not being caught up in the written libraries that shape our operating systems mentally. So to break that mold, to be different in reality, requires you paying attention to the moon cycle as we orbit the sun in our sun cycle, right? That's two different motions in the heavens that you must kind of remind yourself of daily, moment to moment, to not be a part of the operating systems that are brought down to this planet by other moments in time that have now been cast upon you. And when I say moments in time, I really mean like history, the history of, your culture, or the history of that culture. Let's take, for example, like Buddhism. The history of that culture being passed down over and over again creates a religious-based operating system where you can be very adept in that operating system, know its ins and outs, how to install certain programs into the Buddhist software, and then utilize that software for your advantage in the Buddhist religion. So you might know how to, call upon a mantra. That's one of your favorite softwares to use. You might know how to draw mandalas, which I'm going to be playing around with pretty soon. Don't ask me why. It just came to me today that I want to draw some mandalas. But you might want to use these tools of that religious OS to relate to other people in that same ecosystem of that operating system. So, reality is that you can tear away from all of these operating systems and go back to the natural operating system, which is the rhythmic patterns that are all around us in the heavens. So if you move as the moon has 13 cycles per revolution of the sun. And that means when the sun is in a certain sign in the ecliptic zodiac plane that we've, remembered again through a process in our remembrance that I talked about back in a very long lecture called Every Planet Wears a Crown, where we understood heavenly sciences. And I don't even want to put science word out there because that's also a religion. But we understood mechanics, because mechanics actually requires no belief. Mechanics is just what it is. It's like the sprocket in the turning of a gear system that must work, or otherwise the gear system is turned off and you must go repair the gear system. Well, the Earth is on a gear system, and it's purposely moving in influence through the heavens. So 13 months is what we are really talking about, and those are the 13 personalities that are broken down into every human being. And that's the true operating system of mankind, of humankind, to be a 13-month based cohesive gear, cog in the wheel. The minute we removed ourselves from that, we lost a very powerful understanding of magic. And we've got a weakened, lowered system of it, quite fun for people to dabble in, from their zodiac signs to, the amazing, tarot card systems that seem to reveal people's history, futures and pasts and presents. These are things that are just like skimming the surface of the true nature of the human operating system. Now, to get back to the human OS, Hose, you have to erase your brain every day. Wake up with no belief system. So therefore, you won't be expecting bad things. You won't be expecting good things based on something that happened yesterday. I kind of meme this very often on my Twitter page. Find me at DJ DABBLIN. But for a lot of those who are very adept at meditation techniques, which is another software you install into the religious OS, right? You have to take into account that the basics of what we are doing as human beings is working to get a collective together that can unify around a front and move on that front, right? Sort of like how you hear these cicadas out here. They're on a unified front to reproduce right now. Because the minute they're done reproducing, they'll have to go through a 17-year gear cycle waiting to come back out. Why do you think it takes 17 years? Why is their gear system set on that? What if their culture changed and said, hey, we want to do it in 5 years? We want to be like some of the other breeds of cicadas that come out every 5 to 7 years. Because there's also an OS for other, breeds of cicada. You are the master of your own OS. You've been given a gear system to look at out in the skies to help you and to keep you wise. But if you keep your eyes closed to this, you will find the influence of man will win you over, and you'll be a happy-go-lucky person with an OS that is just subpar to the universal power that is really available. I want to continue this talk at another time. I'm really just getting myself warmed back up. I like starting on my phone instead of sitting at my desk. I might not even go sit at my desk, for a couple weeks while I'm doing this prep. But I'm getting ready to redo the lecture called Every Planet Wears a Crown and make some visuals for it, because I feel like I can help people uninstall the many different OSs they're currently running. Because it's okay to have a Windows device, a Mac device, a Mac OS, and then an iOS for your phone. And maybe you have an Android, or maybe you have a tablet. You know what I mean? It's great to have a myriad of different, platforms you use with different operating systems on them. But the question is, can you code and build your own that no one else can use? Can you? Because if no one else can use it, that means you have an exclusivity right to installing software that no one else can. And if you don't want to reach that level of ability, it's because you're scared. Be honest with yourself. You'd rather follow pop culture's understanding because it gives you at least a template and a blueprint that doesn't require you building. You know what I mean? Peace.